How can artists be more conscious as to the role they play?
I love, thank you for asking that, because that's why I love Danielle De Jesus, what she shared.
Yeah.
Because in that moment, I think that she encapsulated exactly that duality of, I'm an artist and I like this, but I know that some people think that this is the source of the issue, the problem. I understand that like you said, it's getting bad. This part of the message of this film is to understand change. Not to say that you're a pacifist and you're like, yes, change is happening, let's pack up and go. But I do think that in terms of artists being ethical and mindful, there are ways to be inclusive and to truly include diversity when a neighborhood is in the midst of change. And that's something that the power brokers, whether it's the art field or whatever, they need to integrate actively into their dynamics so that they are being inclusive. One of the themes so it's a lot of images of people and their experience growing up in Bushwick. I think that on that page, some of the things that I posted, it was 3 kind of tenets, you have to have representation. So I think that it is important for various power organizations in Bushwick to invite the existing community to participate and have a voice in whatever the endeavors that are being developed, whether it's literary, whether it's musical, whether it's art, to reach out. You have to outreach to get those groups to participate. They're not going to be in the fold with the new community because they're not part of that. So you really do have to outreach to those groups. I think that you have to have respect. The first one is just common respect. When moving into a neighborhood and coming into a new community, you have to just have a respect for what's there, respect the land, respect the people. That doesn't mean to respect people that don't respect you, but just having a respect and a mindfulness of what's there. Maybe having a mindfulness of, this is a disgusting neighborhood, it's filthy, and when people have been living there for 20 years, that's insensitive. And recognition is the other one, just recognizing, what's there. So for me, those 3, representation, respect, and recognition are important in bridging that gap. And that's mainly for the power brokers, the ones who are in the positions of power to create these initiatives within communities. Back to the reality, Bushwick, like I said, is an immigrant community. There are going to be barriers in terms of communication that if the majority of the people on your block are not, English is not their first language, then that's a barrier. But despite that barrier, power brokers still need to figure out a way to outreach so that those voices are heard. It's so easy, in a poor community, people are working a lot of jobs, they have kids, they have so much going on, they're not going to have access and that time to integrate themselves into the new incarnation of a community, and I do think that an effort needs to be made for that inclusion for those groups, and also looking at the barriers that exist with those groups as well. We don't have to wait for someone to tell that story, and it's important because going back to the inclusion of diverse narratives, that story might not be told, and it might not be told from the perspective that it needs to be told from. So it's important that if we have the opportunity, my background is not in film, but this story needed to be told, and if you have the passion and the voice, I say you should do it.